All right, Coach, can you talk a little bit about your impressions with the linebackers so far through camp and this first week of practice?
Overall, it's been a pretty good camp. We got some guys that definitely have some good athletic ability. Experience is going to be kind of the key where they're going to be going into that Baylor game with not many reps. We came out overall pretty healthy for the most part with camp, so pretty happy with that. Leadership and all that stuff. We've had guys like Jonathan Yinga and Stephon Sanders have really come on. Seals kind of got some reps for us at the end of the season last year, but he's still kind of a new body in there, as well as Nick Horton and John Bordano and some of those guys. But overall, as a core, I think we're good. They got good intensity and leadership, and so I'm kind of excited to see them get out there. We haven't really had full live tackling with those guys yet, so once the Baylor game comes, we'll see who steps up.
Facing a guy like Bryce Petty, what have you been emphasizing to your linebackers?
They just got to do a good job being disciplined. They got to make sure that they can't get caught up in the scenario where they start losing their eyes and stuff like that. They got to be treated like veterans and all that stuff out there. Can't get caught up in all the hype. Just do their job. Make sure to do that first, and then rally to the football.
Yesterday you named the starters. What made you confident enough to name, Seals, Bordano, Yanga, and Sanders, that starting four?
Yeah, those guys are guys that have been here. They've waited their turn. They've done a good job, been good leaders in general for this program as far as off season. They carried that over as well from the season. Obviously nobody was happy with the way last season ended up, and so we really made a point, stress the emphasis that we wanted to start off strong this year, and you got a good atmosphere to start it off with playing, defending Big 12 champs and going down there to Waco to open up that stadium, and we feel confident that those guys are going to be able to go down there and get the job done.
John Bordano is kind of an unknown name to some people. What does he bring to the playing field?
He's a very smart player. When he's a guy, when those inside backers, they got to be a guy that lines everybody up. They got to make sure the D-line, is all lined up right on slant checks like that, as far as whenever they're motioning, making sure everybody's on the same page. And so whenever you got a guy like that's been there, done it, and is a smart body type, he's pretty reliable in making sure that we're lined up and ready to go every play.
You've got a guy in Bo Barnes who switched over from DN to linebacker this year. How's he been adjusting?
He's good. He's kind of the same type. He's a real smart player. He played a little bit of linebacker in high school. It's still a little bit different once you start adding in the whole coverage effect. It's a whole different side of the ball game. But he's handled it pretty well. He's really worked on his body movements and all that stuff, and I've been pretty impressed with him. But again, he's one of those guys that even whenever he's a D-line, he always wants to know what everybody's doing. Coach Mason does a good job of demanding that everybody on defense knows what everybody does, so it wasn't that big of an adjustment for him when he had to move to linebacker.
With the heat this Sunday, what's going to be key to keeping your guys fresh, throughout the fourth quarter?
They just got to make sure that they do a good job of getting water and all that stuff to get off their feet whenever they come to the sidelines. And then there'll be some rotations and stuff like that, and so a lot of guys are going to get a chance to show what they can do.
Now, you played at Baylor for a couple of years. What's it going to be like going back there for you?
It's obviously it's something special to get to go back and play. Whenever I played there, we played SMU, and I remember ESPN was calling it the Pillow Fight of the Week. Both programs were basically kind of looked down as jokes. So to see how far it's come along with what both Coach Jones and Coach Browse have done with both programs, you go from kind of being the joke in the ESPN article, the Pillow Fight of the Week, to now you're going to be the Sunday primetime game. So just to see how both programs have really expanded and really grown over the last few years is something to be proud of.
On Sunday, it's the opening of their new stadium. What's going to be? How are you going to be able to deal with that atmosphere? What's going to be key to kind of silencing them?
We just got to execute. That's the big thing. They're going to get big plays on us. Obviously they're one of the top most explosive offenses in the nation. We got to make sure to one snap and clear. We can't get caught up and let them start building momentum. We got to know that once they get a big play and stuff, we got to be able to play the next one, put that behind us, and I think we'll be okay.